This here is an important film that everyone should see. Le Système OCTOGON in French, or Schwarze Kassen in German. But because the producers of the film have now insider knowledge of the initiated, they ask themselves why the name OCTOGON or octagon. Because there's nothing octagonal to see. A justified and very awakening question. Well, I'm about to explain you the complementary ingredient to the film. This here is the Templars cross, and the Templars founded Switzerland, the Swiss banks and the Freemasons in 1291. See the Pharaoh show from GIUREH, G-I-U-R-E-H. By connecting all the angles, a perfect octagon appears. And this here is a simplified Templars cross with the very same colours, the national flag of the base of the Swiss Nazi Templars, Switzerland. And when drawing a line encircling all the angles, again we'll have a perfect octagonal shape. The name octagon is a secret code word for their base Switzerland of the Nazi Templars, just as hexagon used to be the key code for France. Nowadays everyone in France knows this name. And when the Swiss Nazi Templars transmit "Help, Octagon! Octagon is endangered!" to their worldwide web of international Freemasonry, the movement of power on all key positions in the entire world will be activated to help and protect, coming to the main reason that no government or state in the world will ever do something against Switzerland and their crimes against humanity of this highly criminal state and people without conscience. So octagon or octogon is the encoded key password for the Templars and for Switzerland. So here's a pyramid. Well, it's supposed to be a pyramid in 3D, the real pyramid. How do the pharaohs show it if they want to show it in 2D? To sew it on a piece of cloth or on a piece of paper? I'm going to show you this now. I already told you that in the pharaoh show. So let's push it down. I'm going to push it down now. Well, there you go, a Templars cross, as the Templars founded Switzerland in 1291. And yeah, like the Iron Cross, the Germans have it. Well, I mean, the Swiss financed the Germans, as we know, as I showed you in my film, as Hitler came here in 23. So they paid him, and he had to obey them, right? Even the Pope has it. So this is a fold-out pyramid. The pharaohs are ruling the whole world. And now if you just push it down or fold it out, now it's ready to be sewn on a jacket or on a shield or at the Pope's clothing, right? The Templars cross is pharaonic. Look at it, the bloke is even wearing the sign. He's wearing the sign of the devil, right under. He's one of the pharaohs, the priest of Amun. As if one is not enough, it's full of it here. There it is, I just showed it to you. It's a pyramid. There's no crime in the world against humanity that doesn't pass the Templars nation of Switzerland. Their banks, their Templars, their mercenaries, their financing of Adolf Hitler and the rest. This is a concentration camp. They murdered many people here. The top of the Nazis, they were all Templars, and the Templars, they were not monks. They were part of the PRA, where the word pharaoh is coming from. So they were like the second son of a nobleman. He couldn't take the castle, so they went waging war like in Jerusalem and all that, and they killed like 41 million Muslims. So this was all financed by Switzerland, all the concentration camps, the whole war. And Switzerland was founded by the Templars. They did it. We must stop Switzerland. They did it. This is the center of all the Nazis. Now foreigners are being represented as all sort of animals, like they did with the Jews in the 30s and the 20s. And they are the heroes, you know, so it's sparking over, you see, and that makes it very dangerous. Yeah. So the Swiss financed Adolf Hitler in 1923. They're all behind it. These horrible things. Well, I don't have to explain what that is, do I? Oh, horrible, all these bloody things here. Yeah. Let's stop the Swiss for good. They're trying to do it again. Oh, look, if you're only here, it's too late. So they have to stop these Swiss now and their Templars, because they're going to do it again. You see, you're going to be guarded all over. You know, and there. You never get to get out. All this was financed by Switzerland, because they financed Adolf Hitler. So stop this criminal country. But the problem is, it was founded by the Templars, and out of the Templars the Freemasons were born. So, you know, the Switzerland and the Templars, they give the orders, and all the Freemasons who are everywhere on key positions in the world, they have to obey these orders from Switzerland. And that's why nobody is doing anything against this highly criminal country. So stop them now, so this won't happen again. This rare picture shows Adolf Hitler in Zurich, Switzerland in 1923, when the Swiss Templars financed him 30,000 Swiss francs, which is about €500,000 today, for the first financing only. And for the rest of the war, the Swiss Nazi Templars gave all the orders and made the concentration camps possible, even ordering them. These are all Swiss Nazi Templars' ideas. So in here they burnt the people in here. Ah, that's horrible. All the people who died here. So that's the chimney you can see from the outside. And these are the forks to pull somebody out. There's the waiting room like at the doctor's. So this was the way out. Yeah. Fuck. Made in Switzerland, financed by the Swiss Templars. I was for a real beating up here. Number 10 Downing Street. So this is nice, so the blood drips away there in the middle for the experiments. Financed by Switzerland and their Templars. Out through the chimney. Hang 'em high here and out through the chimney there. Oh, horrible. Well, this is the house of the camp commandant. He's afraid of intruders. It seems seems like a fairy tale, like with a bad wolf and Little Red. Well, you know the name. Well, the bad wolf even had a swimming pool here. The bad wolf living here. And there he had his pleasures. Horrible. This here is the pagan wall. It's about 20 kilometers long, I think. And it was built by the pharaohs. Because we can find the same sort of attachments here, which we can find in Amarna in Upper Egypt, with the sort of
a log out of wood, you know, so the stones are being connected. So it's definitely the pharaohs who made this. They're the only ones who can do these things, you know. So here's the pagan wall. As in Egypt, as in Upper Egypt, they took the sand here with water, and then they made like concrete. They poured it like together at the place. You can see this because there are all these little stones in here. So, you know, they just mixed it on place. Well, this is the way they did it, and we can find this also in Egypt. The pharaohs did it this way. In Upper Egypt, in Amarna, where Akhenaton, where he's from, so where he was. So they lock it in, you know, two stones together, and so they hold together. But they made a sort of a concrete, you know. I think we find this in South America as well, with the pyramids and all that. It's all the same bunch who did it, you know. This is concrete. I mean, look at all these little stones here. This is prehistoric pharaonic concrete. They probably did the pyramids like this. I mean, this is the there's no mystery. They just took the sand up, and then they took the water up in the water bags. I mean, and then they just mixed it, make concrete, pyramid concrete, and then they let it dry for 4,000 years. I mean, it gets really hard, in the sun. It gets hard as, yeah. So, this is in the east of France here, next to Strasbourg. It's called the Mont Saint-Odile. It's a real big pagan wall. Probably not even pagan. I mean, they call it the pagan wall. Le Mur Païen, die Heidenmauer. It's real long, real long. They did a lot of work here. So when the pharaohs came here, you know, they had to protect themselves, you know, and hide. So that's why they made the pagan wall. Probably one of their first settlements in, or one of the settlements in Northern Europe. Or maybe this is the place where they landed. Who knows, man? Who knows? It's all part of the pagan wall. Night, by the way, it gets real scary here. I don't know, there's something, I don't know what, you know. Some energy. Real strong energies here. We can see again how they attach the stones together here and there. But that was part of the making the concrete, you know. They just when it was still wet, they put the wooden log in there, so it held. Now here we can even see it better. There, you know, they moved apart, but they were like together, you know, in one line. I'll take the branches away in a minute. And we find the same thing in Egypt. So these guys did it like 4,000 years ago, maybe longer, in Europe. So that's that long, they're already here. And here's another one. I'll take the branches away. Take the stuff away. And take the stuff away here. There. You see? Nice log in here. So these guys have been here like for thousands of years, you know, at least 4,000 years, as I say. So this here fitted together like with this one here, you know, like this. The stone moved, the big one here, it moved. But we find the same things in Egypt, in upper Amana. So these guys did it, you know. They've been here for ages. They've always been here. Oh yeah. There's no doubt. And don't believe what history tells you, you know, like the mainstream stuff, you know. Yeah, I'll show you the proofs. The Pharaoh's been here for 4,000 years at least. You know, and they're ruling the world. They founded Switzerland. The Templars were pharaohs. The Per'a, the royal house, the big royal house. And the Templars, they were the poor sons, not the first one in line so he could take the castle, but the other ones who had to fight for it, you know. So they went to Jerusalem and they thought, well, where can we find, you know, like today, where's the petrol? Where's the dope? Afghanistan. You know, they've always been here. All these kings and queens, you know, later on I'll show you some castles here. They've always been here. Yeah, it's a nice forest here. All the way around here. Oh, what a place to hide, eh? It's really, it's magic. There's a small church in the middle of the forest here in France. It's all forest. Used to be an obelisk. Funny triangles. And it's this I wanted to show you. Fleur de Lis. It's the pharaonic lotus. Not to be confused with the car. So here, this is a sarcophagus. It's a true pharaonic. Here's the blood getting out, there's the head. And this is where the blood it goes out here. And all the channels here. You see, it's a lot of channels. It's a true sarcophagus. And the word Sa, it means king in pharaonic language. As in a sarcophagus, it's a box to put the king in when he's dead. Well, this is just a dripping stone. So you can drip. You can drip out. See there? Here's the hole. Yeah. There's the hole here. That's the hole. See? And all the channels here with the blood. So the blood can drip out here. I sense it's a Templar. It's a chapel. It's a Templar's chapel. It must be a Templar's chapel. So surprisingly, I could open up the door. And usually the Templars' chapels are round at the back. But it was built at the time of the Crusades. There it is, 1090. So it must be a Templars thing. Only the Templars, they build a chapel in the forest. And they put the sarcophages there. Because the Templars actually, they were not monks. They were noblemen, you know, like the second son or the third son who couldn't take over the castle. So they went, you know, like terrorizing other peoples, what they did. Apparently the Templars, they killed like 41 million Muslims. No wonder they hate us. They got all reason to do. Only these pharaohs and the pera, it means the big house. So all the noblemen, they are pharaonic blood. Well, here's their blood. And only these guys that make sarcophages. Because they're pharaohs. Pera. The royal bloodline. The satanic bloodline. In the middle of the forest, there's nothing here. You know? There's only military monks making a thing like this. No normal monks, man. Only the military wing. It's Templar. Can be damn sure it is. I mean, whom they want to invite here. Yeah. Well, oh, better close the door again. Well, otherwise all hell breaks loose. Never know. So it was built during the Crusades, eh? This looks more like a prison to me. So this castle here, built by the pharaohs and the pera, is called Dreistein. It means the three stones. Whoa, what kind of stones? Holy stones from Egypt or what? No? Oh, let's go and have a look. It's all forest here. Good place to hide. So we're getting nearer and nearer. There it is. There it is, the castle of the three stones. Well, does anyone think these are the first three stones of the foundation of the castle? Eh? No, silly. The three stones are the stones of wisdom. From the pharaohs, from Egypt. It's IHS. Isis, Horus, and Seth. Or the Holy Spirit, the Father and the Son. The Father is Seth, Seton. The real Father is Osiris, but Seton, Satan, is the Father. And Horus is the Son, and Isis is the idea of making man, shaping man new. It is all pharaonic. Dreistein, the three stones. There's even a cave here. So this is next to Strasbourg, you know, the center of Europe, where the European community is. You see? Tall. Well, the explanation they give us that it was built on three rocks. Well, I only see two actually. That's the explanation they give us for the name Three Stone Castle. That's bollocks. I mean, they lie about the World Trade Center, they lie about everything. They lie about the foundation of Switzerland. Everything. Yeah, and the Three Stone Castle is actually the place where the pagan wall is. You know. So it's all linked together. So all the wars about raising a new human race, the best of mankind, the best of man, they all died as cannon fodder in all these wars, you know, on the battlefields. So the most intelligent ones, and so the Sisters of Isis, after the system of Horus, they could raise a new man, obeying all orders, not thinking too much, like a garden gnome. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a warrior stuff. A warrior doesn't need any orders. It means the grain, our descendants is here, our blood is here. Look, there he is, the criminal. The Pharaoh. Well, look at him. You think that's a European? Get out of here. It's a stupid thing anyway, taking orders from somebody. Kill that one, kill this one. I mean, what a stupid idea, you know? A warrior doesn't take any orders. You know, he can make his own orders. Get out of here. What a waste of human material. What a waste. For a flag, you know. And look at all these names, they're dead for nothing. Look at all these names. What a waste. Probably 19 years old, 20 years old. Well, they didn't fit into the Horus idea. Watched all these names, what a waste. You know, it's everywhere. That's the Horus matrix. So all these people they just didn't pass selection after the idea of the Horus matrix and the Sisters of Isis. You know. And their children didn't have any father, you know, to tell them what life is all about. So the biggest enemy are our own generals and presidents. That's the enemy, not the soldier in another uniform, speaking another language. That's the enemy. Ja.
Ich habe ein Ding
Ja.
mit einem Licht
Ja.
für die Zeitung ein bisschen lesen. Schau mal. Junge haben schon wieder Junge. Wo wieder Junge haben?
Nein.
Siehst du? Geht nicht bei der Vögel. Nicht bei der Vögel, Mensch. Dann mit der Bühne, mit der schwarzen Bühne. Hey. Ein Loch da drin. Blicken unter uns. Zwei Bachsteine zusammengeschlagen. Ja. Das haben die Franzosen gemacht.
Ja.
In der Algerie.
Ja.
Strürig versagen. Bühne, die es mitgemacht hat. Ja. Wo die Soldaten gekommen sind. Ja, haben sie die Weiber vergewaltigt. Ja, da mehr, ja. Die Weiber vergewaltigt. No, sind sie zuerst an die Jungen gegangen. Also, da hast du verstanden, he?
Ja. Auf een alten Velo muss man lernen, oder? Hä?
Ja.
So ist es.
Das ist auch lecker. Das hat sie so hingemacht. War nicht mehr da.
Ja.
Wie ist das sagen?
Oké, André, ik kan op Bernwielen
Jetzt ab.
abmarcheren.
Tut was. Ab Bernwielen.
Ja, oké.
Hoppla, Sauli.
Salut André,
Ja.
mach's goed hè.
Ja, merci.
Und danke für de wie.
Ja.
89 jetzt, hè? Oh. So this man, his name is André Gainsbittel, and he's an Alsatian, and he was in Auschwitz. He said, I didn't have a choice, otherwise they would have shot me. Ah, sad, sad, sad. Well, I'm glad I'm a deserter. To say no to the bloody pharaohs, you know, and all these wars. Well, okay. So this is the street he lives in. Oh, he's 89. It says Kirchgasse, Kirchgasse. And here's the church. So this is in Alsace. Well, he remembers his ancestors came from Switzerland like 350 years ago. So to everybody, you know, all these bastards who don't believe that Auschwitz was there and all these people got murdered, well, I mean, he told me it happened. It really happened. So in Alsace, this is the village where the SS who was in Auschwitz, so André Gainsbittel, he is from. He said I couldn't do anything else. I didn't seem to have much of a conscience either, but he said, well, if I wouldn't have obeyed the orders, they would have shot me. I mean, I would have never done a thing like this, you know. But I honestly think that the only solution to all these wars and all this misery and children being murdered and killed, you know, the only solution is that we raise our kids as warriors who can act alone, who don't need to organize, like be in a group of like 10 persons before, because everything gets infiltrated anyway. So who can act alone and say, okay, well that's it, that is it. I couldn't live with a thing like this, you know, murdering children in a concentration camp, and I'll just shoot the next bloody SS officer who crosses my path. Like, I'm a deserter myself. I didn't want to stay in this war in Angola and Namibia with the South African Army, and well, I never regretted it that I did so, you know. And that's the difference between a warrior and a soldier. A warrior doesn't take any orders. He makes his own line, he makes his own decisions, you know. So please, mothers, raise your children as warriors so the pharaohs can't snatch them and make soldiers out of them, who eventually have to be in the SS in Auschwitz and carry this for the rest of their lives. So it's a very nice nature here. It's real beautiful here. I mean, you can see the forest all over. Look at the forest there, the mountains there. Real beautiful. And yeah, I met this guy in 2003. Now he's 89. I mean, what can you do? He's an old man. But anyway, to all the Holocaust deniers and all that, and all, you know, it really happened. It did happen. And I believe that the pharaohs, they killed the Hebrews. And the pharaohs are ruling over Israel as well. But they are there. Believe me, they are there. So see the Pharaoh show. I went especially for you to film this guy, and I didn't know he was still alive. I'm glad he was still alive, you know. Of course, I had to say, well, have a nice life and, you know, take it easy. In my heart, I don't think I really meant it, because I don't feel very much for somebody who was a guard in Auschwitz. He was only a guard, he says, but he saw the trains and all that, and the yellow stars, and so maybe someone can help me. Like, I asked him if I could videotape him. He said no, and his wife. So finally, when I was alone with him, I took out my camera, and he didn't say anything against it. You know, he saw that that I was videotaping him. But maybe he's willing to talk. He's really, you know, in history, as old people are. You know, they are in history what they have lived through in their lives. And if anyone can help me, like having a secret camera, and I would definitely like to record him again, you know, in a concealed camera and microphone and all that. So maybe there's someone in Israel who says, well, I can help you. I definitely do this, because I think it's important. There's not many people left who can witness this this age, the war, you know, and from the side of an SS soldier. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't keep it too long here. Bye bye, and I hope someone can help me. And I'll definitely do it. Don't wait too long, because I don't think this guy lives much longer, as he is 89. Okay. Bye bye for now.
The Swiss even have a beer to celebrate the Crusades with. 1291, the year in which the Templars founded Switzerland and brought the Templars' treasure into the Swiss mountains, with which the Swiss banks were founded. And they call the Nazi gold and all the looted goods from World War II the Third Templars' treasure. Watch the Pharaoh show. From GIUREH. Here's a picture of Adolf Hitler visiting Switzerland on August 30th, 1923. Where he held speeches for Swiss leading industrials for a period of 8 days in the larger Swiss towns of Zurich, Basel and some others, collecting at least 30,000 Swiss francs at that time, which is about $1 million today. Some people say he even got 123,000 francs, which is about $4 million. So the Swiss financed Adolf Hitler, the Third Reich and the Second World War. The later head of the SS of Berlin, Gottlob Burger, said that Hitler came back with a suitcase full of francs and dollars. This Swiss financing enabled Hitler to do a military coup a few months later, in November of the same year. And as we know, it failed, enabling Hitler to write Mein Kampf in prison, mostly written by Rudolf Hess. Hess was pure Pharaonic and was even born in Egypt in 1894. And it was Hess, who was studying in Zurich at the time, who together with the Swiss Nazi Ulrich Wille invited Hitler to come to Switzerland. By that time, Hess already had become a member of the Swiss Templars, and it therefore has to be assumed that Mein Kampf in fact was a Swiss book. The Swiss never do anything for others unless they smell money. Big money. Only then they smile, the Swiss. So when the Swiss invited Hitler, they said, well, we like your ideas very much. So you kill the Jews and we take the bank account. The Swiss Nazi Ulrich Wille's mother was from the von Bismarck nobility and Pharaonic per A. And the Swiss had also contacts to Goebbels and Himmler. He was also famous for keeping children's slaves, which I will tell you about in the next vid. Here the child's being sold in the market in Switzerland. Whenever Hitler visited Switzerland, he stayed in the Villa Schönberg, Nazi residence of Mr. Wille, and watched the Swiss cross, the Templars cross on the right. The Swiss Nazi Templar Ulrich Wille even had his daughter study in Germany, so he could conceal his real reasons for visiting Germany all the time. Because after 1923 and after the covenant had been made, they decided that Hitler would better not visit the country anymore, where his finances came from, for safety measures. The covenant had to be hidden. I knew a geezer from the regiment who guarded Rudolf Hess in the Berlin-Spandau prison. And Hess told him that Hess flew over to England to tell people that Hitler was taking orders from the Swiss. And their aim was to destroy Germany as well. Which Hess didn't want. Hess said that on occasions he was crawling with Swiss in Germany, who could of course speak accentless German. And eventually the Swiss Templars had Rudolf Hess silenced forever by their British Freemasonry companions. Hitler told the Germans what they wanted to hear, to win the people's trust, hearts and minds, so nobody realized that he did in fact the opposite until it was too late. Well, that's what politicians do, isn't it? So here in this video you can hear him solemnly swear in an overwhelming, convincing way never to force children to war and that women shouldn't defend themselves in war. So 2 million German women could be gangbanged by the Red Army in 1945. All this was part of the plan since he got financed in Switzerland, 1923.
Ein Frauenregiment in der Sowjetunion beim Scharfschießen. Oder ein Frauenbataillon in Spanien beim Handgranaten werfen. Oder ich kann da den Vertretern dieser Art von weiblicher Gleichberechtigung nur sagen, ich würde kein Mann sein, wenn ich so etwas dulden wollte. Ich habe den Krieg erlebt. Ich weiß, wie schwer er ist. Ich weiß, von wie vielen Männern die Nerven in diesem Krieg zerbrochen worden sind. Ich habe sie zurückgehen sehen, oft zu Dutzenden und Dutzenden schlotternd, in sich vollständig zerfallen und gebrochen. Der Gedanke, dass ein Mädchen oder eine Frau das auf sich nehmen soll, da könnte ich dann keinen Respekt haben vor den deutschen Männern. Entweder ich stehe dafür gerade oder sie soll zurücktreten. Solange wir ein gesundes männliches Geschlecht besitzen, und dafür werden wir Nationalsozialisten sorgen, wird in Deutschland keine weibliche Handgranatenwerferinnenabteilung gebildet und kein weibliches Scharfschützenkorps. Das ist nicht Gleichberechtigung, sondern das ist in Wirklichkeit Minderberechtigung der Frau. Denn für die Frau ist das schwerer als für den Mann. Für sie ist das viel furchtbarer als für den Mann. Ich könnte genauso gut sagen, ich rüste Kinder aus in Zukunft und schicke sie in den Krieg. Das werden wir nicht tun. Der Führer
empfängt in seinem Hauptquartier den Reichsjugendführer Axmann mit einer Abordnung von 20 Hitlerjungen, die sich bei der Verteidigung ihrer Heimat besonders bewährt haben und dafür mit dem Eisernen Kreuz ausgezeichnet wurden. Mit diesen 20 Jungen ist vor dem Führer symbolisch die deutsche Jugend angetreten, die als treuer Helfer unserer Soldaten und des Volkssturms mutig und unerschrocken im höchsten Einsatz steht. Der Führer lässt sich von den Jungen ihre Erlebnisse schildern. Ich habe zunächst mit 13 meiner Kameraden unter dem Befehl unseres Bänfels im Stadtteil Grün und West gelegen. Wir versuchten, wie wir im Einbrechen gefangen befand, zu sichern. Als diese dann aus der Richtung Gleiwitz am 24. Januar anhalten, teilte der Bandführer uns in 2 Gruppen ein und holte in Mitte ein, gegen die Panzer vor und um den Begriff anzugreifen, gaben die anderen Gruppen den Führerschutz. Unser Bandführer hat 3 Panzer abgeschossen und ist dann leider bei der Versuch des Stürzens gefallen. Nachdem wir seinen Tod festgestellt hatten, mussten wir uns taktischen Gründen nach einem Eisenbahnland zurückziehen. Von dort haben wir dann am Abend die Untergehung und Durchführung der Straße von Gleiwitz nach Hindenburg, die den Zugang zur Stadt bildete, gesprengt. Ich war von dem ersten Angriff als Befehl des Bandführers als Melder eingesetzt. Ich musste eine belgische Meldung zu den Sturmschützen zurückziehen und diese heranziehen. Diese kamen dann auch nach und zu ermöglichten sie uns das Eindringen in das vom Feind besetzte Dorf und so trugen wir die Bereitstellung auf. Als der Russe näher an Labern heranrückte, habe ich mich dem Kampfkommandanten von Labern freiwillig als Melder zur Verfügung gestellt. Meine Aufgabe bestand darin, Meldungen zu den einzelnen Kompaniegefechtsständen zu bringen. Außerdem habe ich oftmals Panzerfäuste in Verklärung in die Hauptkantine gebracht. Die Panzerfäuste habe ich auf Leiterwand oder Kran unter feindlichem Beschuss in die Haupthalle geschafft.
Hitler and his gang had 175,000 German boys killed in the Volkssturm in 1945, and 2 million German women got gangbanged by the Russians. Well, you kill the men and their sons, so you can easily take the bonus and conquer the women. And this is how the pharaonic genetics got spread again, because it was only the Soviet officers and officials who did this, whereas Russian soldiers themselves had strict orders not to touch any women and girls. This was restricted to the pharaohs only, and they came by the thousands from Moscow to have a go, or two. It was all planned this way, and Hitler in fact despised of the Germans. He lied to the English, he lied to the Russians, and the whole world, and most of all, he lied to the Germans. But he didn't lie to the Swiss. He kept his promise to the end. Hitler was a pharaonic, Freemason, Templar, Swiss agent who never got rid of the Freemasons, actually. He only sacrificed the lower, insignificant ranks of stupid Europeans, while the higher pharaonic Freemason ranks slipped into the officers' jackets of the SS, Wehrmacht, Luftwaffe, Navy and Gestapo for the next 12 years to come. Especially in the early days of the German Nazis in the 30s and 20s, a lot of Freemasonry symbols are being used, as the skull and bones here. And the fold-out pyramid Templars flag, as the Pope is having it. Adolf Hitler himself doing Freemasonry symbols with his hands, as all politicians do now today. Secret politician Freemason symbol. The hidden hand of the Freemasons, like Napoleon, like Stalin, like the rest. And watch his facial expressions of Mr. Goering while he's slipping his hand in his jacket. You can see he knows, you know, like he's, look at that.
Now watch his face and the sneaky gesture while he's doing it. I mean, there's no doubt. Yep, they were all pharaohs financed by Switzerland, so watch the Pharaoh show for more. I mean, there are real many times you can find this in history. Here is the logo of the Swiss Air Force during World War II, and they still haven't changed it today. The Swiss financed Adolf Hitler and World War II. Of course, this is a Nazi-built Focke-Wulf or Messerschmitt fighter plane. So here is a close-up picture from the same logo of the same picture. So this is the same fighter airplane the Germans had, and it's almost the same logo as the Nazis had on their warplanes. Well, the Swiss, if the Germans would have won the war, they would have only had to add the black cross in the middle of this white cross, which I'm going to show you later. Then we would have had a big European community Nazi army with the Swiss commanding. So here, this is the invasion of Poland, and the German tanks, they still had the Swiss flags on it, and then they changed it. The Swiss High Command changed that finally. The Swiss flag on the German tank in World War II, and then they changed it, you know, then they camouflaged it later on. And here's a picture of the logo of the Nazi German Luftwaffe, who bombed, killed and murdered millions of Europeans. Yes, it is a Swiss cross, as on the Swiss flag with a black cross as the one from a graveyard on it. So the Swiss had the same German fighter planes as the Focke-Wulf and the Messerschmitt. So in case they would have won the war, the Germans did, then they just would have added the black cross of death, and it would be one army. They thought of everything actually. So, well, the Germans, as we know, they lost the war, and then the Swiss smiled, oh, we're so happy that the Germans lost the war, and you know, well, we did a good business anyway. So the black cross added on the Swiss Templars cross is a symbol of death, as on a graveyard. So the German Nazi logo means we are the Swiss and we bring death. We bring death to the Europeans, just as they hate the European community very much here, and they only want to profit and parasite on Europe. This is Switzerland. Hitler took all the orders from his Swiss financiers, even of this Swiss logo on all German war material. The Swiss master race couldn't hold back their arrogance by putting this concealed Swiss logo on every German tank and airplane during World War II. Not knowing that 70 years later YouTube would come, where everything is analysed and scrutinised until the truth is being squeezed out. The Swiss hide, smile and conceal and make very little or no mistakes at all. But here, the Swiss master race definitely made a mistake out of a time where they couldn't possibly imagine the internet's power of people uniting worldwide. Let's not forget. Let's not forgive. The Germans murdered Europe. But the whole idea of being the master race and all that is not very German. It's very Swiss, and they still do it today in the 21st century. On this post it even said all the 10-year-olds go and fight the Second World War and serve Mr. Hitler. Can you imagine? Here, on top of the most important German monument of the German people and their history, we can see the Isis of the Swiss pharaohs and their Templars shield, or Rothschild, as on the Swiss Army knife. Meaning, we the Swiss pharaohs and sisters of Isis, we own Germany and the BRD with our Swiss banks and Swiss Templars. The Swiss financed Adolf Hitler in 1932 and afterwards, and here we can see the result. The symbol of Switzerland and their banks on top of the Brandenburg Gate, the symbol of the German unity. So who's controlling the so-called German unity, and it stands on top of that, eh? The Swiss military wing of the Templars did 9/11. So the Swiss banks could gain an astronomous financial profit through the collapse of the Arab financial world due to the American invasions into the Muslim world consequent to 9/11. They did it. The Swiss did 9/11. The military wing, the Templars, and their financial wing, the Swiss banksters. The Swiss did it. There's no doubt. Just as the Swiss financed this monster here so he could destroy Europe and the Europeans and their children. There's a rare picture showing Hitler in Switzerland in 1923 when they financed him. Now, if the damn thing would be drawn in black, like on a piece of paper, you just draw it in black like around, forget about the red. And then if we take away two diagonals, like in white, and only the black stripes are being left, what do we get? I'm going to cut it out and show you what's left. So shown a drawn Templar's cross here, if I take away the white diagonals. So here we got a Templar's cross which was drawn with two diagonals gone. So it's a swastika in its original form. We just have to bend the outsides a little bit and we get the swastika the Nazis used. So this means the Nazis were in fact Templars, and they came all from Switzerland, who gave all the orders. That's why Hitler didn't attack the hand that fed him. So the Nazis were in fact pharaohs, and the swastika is in fact from a pyramid. Okay, you get the point? I already told you that in the Pharaoh show, but now you can see it in a live show here, what I mean. So here in 1923 we see Adolf Hitler here in Switzerland. You see the guy with the gun in his pocket next to him? So here's when he got the money, and so he had to take the orders from them further on for the whole war. And that meant you kill them all and we take the bank accounts of everybody. This is why he didn't finish up with the British Army in Dunkirk, because the Swiss didn't want this. Because if he would have finished them off in Dunkirk, the British Army, then the war would have been over, and then there wouldn't be any goal for Switzerland. Eh? The Templars. At the beginning of the war in 1939, all the German tanks at the invasion in Poland had the Swiss cross on their tanks, as you can see it here. Later on they changed it. It was too obvious. No. Here's another one. It's like the white cross on the Swiss flag as they use it today. Then the Swiss asked, it was too obvious, so they ordered Mr. Hitler to change it into something else, which I'm going to show you later. Then the Swiss finances ordered Mr. Hitler to change the sign on the tanks into this one here, which they kept for the rest of the war actually. But it's still a Swiss flag. There's only a black one in the middle, you see. So it's a bit camouflaged, as they camouflaged it all. So after the Poland invasion, they changed it for the rest of the war with the black cross in the middle. It was all Swiss financed and Swiss masterminded by the Swiss Templars, the Knights Templars. So the Iron Cross is in fact a Templar's cross. The big one is the Templar's cross, and the little one there is when you take away two diagonals, and it both comes from a pyramid and from the pharaohs, as I proved to you before. Here we can see a poster of the notorious Swiss SVP or UDC Nazi party, on which they honor and worship the Nazi Templar child killer Anders Breivik, the butcher from Utøya Island. Breivik claims to be part of a Knights Templar force of 80 men called KTE or Knights Templar Europe. Which also stands for the Nazi SS slogan Kameradschaft, Treue und Ehre, meaning comradeship, loyalty and honor. Yes, exactly. Nazis and Templars are and always were one and the same thing. Like KTE, Knights, Templars, Europe. Okay. And here it says it will happen, and that was before the Utøya thing. They knew something was going to happen. And their base is the Nazi Templar state of Switzerland. The last crusade was in 1291, and Aachen, the last stronghold of the Templars, fell on May 18th, 1291. And only 2.5 months later, they founded Switzerland on August 1st, 1291. The time to get back on horseback to Europe from the Middle East and loaded with gold from the pharaohs, with which the Swiss banks were founded, and the Templars' treasures hidden in caves in the Swiss mountains. See the Pharaoh show for more. And the Swiss Nazi Templars already financed Adolf Hitler, seen here on a rare picture of 1923 in Zurich, Switzerland, where he got 40,000 Swiss francs. Well, you can read it all here. Just put on pause and you can read it. Oh, this is Switzerland, eh? And the Swiss Nazi Templars most certainly financed and trained the Oslo Butcher. Both are Templars, Breivik, Quisling and the Swiss, and both fear and hate Islam. So before you could see his book, and this is the video he made, and he put it online just before he butchered all these poor kids. It's the Templars, it's the Swiss who are behind it. You want any more proofs? The horrific SVP Nazi Templar poster with Breivik was made by the Wallis or Valais section of the notorious Oskar Freisinger, which you can see here. He likes to be compared or taken for Mr. Hitler himself. Proud to be, you see. Who travels a lot internationally to meet up with the secret world of international Nazism and finance them when possible. This is how they met Anders Breivik. Okay. The degraded situation in Switzerland has become a menace to the world again, where all key positions in society are taken by SVP Nazis and no internationally agreed laws are being applied anymore. In Switzerland, only their own set of Nazi Templar laws are being applied, so do not believe one single word of what the Swiss Nazi Templar Justice Department and their police says, even when they smile so innocently to you. It is 100% sure that the Nazi Templars of Switzerland are behind the Utøya massacre. But the children had to die for yet another geopolitical reason. You can read it here. Assassins being paid for the Swiss bankers or banksters. And the Swiss banks were founded by the Templars, of whom Mr. Breivik was part of. Now listen carefully. All present wars are about natural resources. And what's Norway's biggest mineral resource, which made the country the wealthiest in Europe? Yes, oil. But the Norwegian Workers' Party, to which the murdered children belonged to, decided that the oil belongs to all Norwegians to profit from it, no matter their social status or their bank accounts. So they had a university philosopher instead of an economist deal with the matter. And this is something the all-powerful Swiss Nazi Templar banks did not like at all. And this is how the Swiss Templars decided that the next generation of Norwegian socialists had to die. Because of the oil. Because like this, the Templars can't control nor manipulate the people anymore. If wealth and life comes for free and the wealth of the oil passes in front of the Templars' eyes without them having a cut of it. So I suggest that the very same philosopher explains to Breivik, instead of a policeman, of how they misused him in order to achieve a whole different set of goals. And the very moment Breivik will understands it all, and how he was misled, and why he was supposed to die too that day on Utøya, then he will give out all his secrets and all his contacts.
You don't?
In the 60s there was a pharaonic television series called The Saint, alias Simon Templar, Simon the Templar, which refers to the notorious Templar butcher of the Crusades called Simon de Montfort, Simon de Montfort, meaning Simon of the Strong Mountains, whereas the Strong Mountains are of course Switzerland, their base, and where their valuables and famous Templars treasures are. The initials of Simon Templar are ST, as the famous ST1 on the number plate of his car, ST, of course, is short for saint. S, a big S and a small t, like Saint Martin, you know, like. But Simon de Montfort was only a saint for the New World Order, Templars, Pharaohs, Masons, and the Swiss, who are all the same in fact. To us, he was a devil, a butcher, and a child killer, just as the other Templar, Anders Breivik from Utøya Island. Templars are famous for butchering innocent children, you see. They always did these abominations, they did. It's therefore no wonder that Roger Moore, who played the saint, lives in Switzerland, their base. And his father was a policeman of the Interior Army, the police force. The Queen made Sir Roger a knight of the Pharaonic Templars order, and Sir means sire, the king, which comes from the Pharaonic word Sar, S-A-R, like in Caesar. Watch the Pharaoh show. And only those of Pharaonic descent can enter the nobility of the Queen's knighthood. The Saint series always shows Pharaonic secret symbols as the sun hieroglyph here. There it is. And here on the door, two times vertically, and here the door, and here on the cupboard. Well, don't you think that Sir Roger doesn't know, right? And there, and here where Superman punches someone through the wood in the cupboard. They want us to think that they are the heroes, but they are not. They just want us to go into wars, etc. And here another Pharaonic sun hieroglyph in white on the chimney. And here as well. Well, here we can see it better. There he goes, the hero. There it is. Oh boy, look at the floor. The saint often plays, of course, in that base and mother of all evil, Switzerland, just as the other heroic Superman pictures, James Bond, whereas Sir Sean Connery is far from being a real Scot. Only pharaohs play these important roles, get knighted, and have so many hairs on their chests. And the saint's author, Leslie Charteris, Charteris, in Pharaonic, claims to be a descendant of the Chinese emperors, who were not even Chinese but Mongolian. This is well known. And before that, pure Pharaonic, of course, as all nobility is. Whereas the word pharaoh comes from the words per-a, per-a, P-E-R-A, meaning the big house, or house big. The worldwide royal house of the pharaohs, our masters. Well, and look here. Here we can see the, this is the sun hieroglyph here. As in the Saints movies. So this is the lodge again here in Zollikofen in Switzerland. And the number 116, apparently it's all over at all the lodges. And like if you turn it around, like if you turn it around, you'll get it doesn't work. No. Yeah, well, this is the lodge here in Switzerland. If you turn it around, the number 116, well, you get this here. And so why 116? Apparently many lodges are on the number 116. Well, I'll tell you why. Because that's the date 1160,
and I was in the middle of the Crusades. And what happened 1160? The most important Templar got born. His name was Simon de Montfort. And what does it mean, Montfort? It means strong mountain. And where's the strong mountain? Well, it's here in Switzerland. And the one that's missing here, Les Neuf Sœurs, which they took away because of me, it's because of the 9 Templars. That's why it's Les Neuf Sœurs. Well, they're not sisters. Well, they were queers actually, with the Baphomet and all that. And Simon de Montfort, so Simon of the Strong Mountains, his father was Simon de Montfort, and his son was Simon de Montfort as well. The 4th Earl of Leicester. And he was a real butcher. During the 4th Crusade from 1202 to 1204, he butchered lots of people in Constantinople, which is Istanbul now. And he got very famous, notorious for butchering the Qatar people in southern France. So with this, he opened the 2 gates for bringing the Templars' treasure through the east or through the west into Switzerland, into the Montfort, so the strong mountains. So this guy is very, very much related to the foundation of Switzerland and the Templars. So this is why this number here. And if you turn it around, you get 911, 1160. Okay. Yeah, well, and this also is the temple that gave the so Les Neuf Sœurs, the 9 Templars, that gave the Statue of Liberty, which is actually Isis. They gave it to well, we know whom, eh? And Mr. Simon of the Strong Mountains, so Simon of Switzerland, he was a part of the Dominicans as well, you know. He was a real butcher. And this is what they like in Switzerland, butchers. You know, financing wars and killing people all over, like in the Second World War, they finance everything. So the Swiss like butchers. It's the home of the Templars. The biggest criminal organization there ever was. And this is actually what Hebrews and Muslims have in common. They were both butchered by the Templars. And it's both Swiss banks who come from the Templars that finance the dictators and that finance Adolf Hitler. So guys, team up. You've got a lot of things in common in the Middle East. This is the enemy. The Templars and Switzerland, their banks, their mercenaries, and Simon of the Strong Mountains. 9/11, they did it. So here is the lodge again on number 116, as in the year 1160, of Simon of the Strong Mountains. And here I took a picture a couple of years ago where we can still see the lodge, Voltaire aux Neuf Sœurs, the 9 sisters, you know, giving a link to the 9 Templars, the original 9 Templars. Well, these queers probably call themselves sisters, as they abused of children and all that, you know, with the yeah. So it says number 116, you know, with the Baphomet thing. And here is one of the pamphlet, the posters, the Swiss made, you know, Nazi things, racist things by portraying foreigners in this one as black crows. Well, picking into the clean Switzerland, the strong mountains of Simon of the Strong Mountains, eh? And we already saw that they portrayed the foreigners as black sheep, as rats, as snakes, as well, a lot of other things. It's really horrible. This is the heart of Nazism. It is. You see, here's the temple again. There. So these guys are hiding something, eh? They took away the 9 sisters, and the 9 sisters were the ones that gave the Statue of Liberty to the ones on the other side of the dip. And here we can see how they play people out against each other. That's what they like, the Freemasons and the Swiss, eh? So their banks, their Templar banks, they can gain money on that. This is what they always do. So you guys in the Middle East, don't bash your heads in, you know, with each other. Team up against the enemy, the real enemy. And this is the real enemy of both of you, of the Muslims and the Hebrews. So team up, get together and fight the real enemy. These ones here in Switzerland with their banks and their Templars. Okay, peace up, eh?
The Olympic logo is a Freemason and Pharaonic symbol, where the rings symbolize them holding together against us, as in a chain of command, or one for all and all for one. As the Templars said, unus pro omnibus, omnes pro uno, meaning one for all and all for one, showing at the ceiling of the Swiss Templars parliaments, with the Templars flag in a simplified way in the same colours in the middle. Watch the Pharaoh show from GIUREH, which explains more. GIUREH. And out of the Templars came the Freemasons. The Vesica is a Pharaonic word, meaning to be alone, place, soul. Ve-si-ka. We further on find the Vesica in the Gucci logo, showing the Freemason G 2 times, in negative and in positive. What is up is down, and what's down is up. Swiss Coop supermarkets, MasterCard, with exactly the same colours as the Swiss supermarket chain. Audi, the Illuminati car from Ingolstadt in Germany, where Adam Weishaupt came from, and many others. So do know who the gods really are, for whom you're going to run in circles.